The biggest mistakes when manifesting. What are they and what to do about them? This is a topic that came up in my AI series that I'm doing here on YouTube. It's in the works of having a name, but I go on my YouTube studio and it gives me ideas generated by AI of what's popular to talk about manifesting. And it had a whole outline of what I should talk about are the pitfalls when you are manifesting. And I went through it and read it and did a whole video on it. I'll try to remember to link it in the description if you want to see that. But I was like, these are not the pitfalls of manifesting. I don't know what is, but this is not it. So I have been thinking about that. And I want to talk about from my experience what the biggest mistakes you can make when you're manifesting are. So if you're interested, let's do this. Hi, I'm Sonia, and I like to talk about manifesting from my own personal experience. And from my own personal experience, there's only one mistake you can make when you're manifesting, and that is telling yourself that you are making a mistake. Thinking that there are a ton of mistakes that you can make when manifesting is bullshit. All manifestation, all things that you experience in your physical world are a result of what you tell yourself is true about yourself, about the world, about other people. You are always right. When you want to experience something different, you have to change the thought process, and then you will be proven correct in your new quote unquote assumption. That's why Neville Goddard called it the law of assumption. You are always right in what you assume to be true. If you are, for any reason, telling yourself that it's not working, or telling yourself that, it's not working, this is wrong, I can't have what I want, I won't get what I want, this happened and now it'll never happen, you are choosing that for yourself, and there's your mistake. Your job is to select what you want to be true and keep coming back to it regardless of anything else. If you are not doing that, it will not work because it's working perfectly. It's not going to work the way that you want it to just because you want it to work for you. It works constantly 24/7, proving you right in what you're assuming is true. So unless you change what you're accepting is true, the outside world cannot change to prove you right. And that right there is the only mistake you're making. That is the pitfall that you're making, that you're falling into, is thinking that it is more than that. I bring it back to, I call it presence awareness choice. You bring yourself back to the present moment, you become aware of what you're thinking, and then you make a choice from there. If you are doing that to the best of your ability, then there is nothing in your way to having what you want, unless you tell yourself that there is. And then you're right. And because that's what you tell yourself the most likely, that's what you experience. When it comes to, like, that's it. Like, what else are the mistakes that you make? That's it. That is the only mistake there is that can be made. Now, there are a lot of things that I did on my journey that I wish I wouldn't have done. There were a lot of things that made shit a lot harder for me than they needed to be. But I think that they may be common to people, like other people may have experienced these things, but it's not, oh, well, this thing is going to ruin your manifestation if you do it. Again, whatever you tell yourself is true is true. And making it more complicated than that is just bullshit. It's not, it's just not a thing. I've been thinking about this topic now for, I think it's been a couple weeks since I posted that video. I don't pay attention. I don't remember, but it's like, what were the big roadblocks and pitfalls? And it was always my thinking. It was always my thinking. It was limitations I was putting on myself because of my thinking. It was not understanding that it's just my thinking. It was not understanding that my actions are dictated by what I assume is true. If I assume that I'm not smart enough or competent enough to get a better job, I'm never going to apply for a better job because I don't think I could have it. So until I decide that I could have that job and I am good enough and I am competent enough, there's no amount of action I can take in order to get that job. Because then I'll apply and, probably not get chosen. And if I do somehow end up with the job, if that keeps playing in my head how I don't deserve it, it's going to blow up in my face. Not because it's like a ruined manifestation, but because I'm being proven right in what I believe to be true. What are you moaning about? I don't know if you guys hear Jack's moaning. I know for me, I can tell you some of the things that caught me up because I didn't believe it was just my mindset. Um, Here's a funny one that manifestations have business hours. That was a funny one. That one ran for a while. It was, I woke up in the morning feeling really good and just knowing that today was the day that everything was going to change. And as the day went on, I would feel good. And then it would get later in the afternoon and nothing had changed. And then by dinner time, nothing had changed. And it was about that time, like 4 or 5 p.m., like when the bank would close. Ugh, nothing happened. Another day of nothing happening. It's not working. It's not real. This isn't going to happen. Then going to bed and being like, well, tomorrow is another day. And, gone with the winding it. Tomorrow is another day. Waking up the next day and doing the same thing. Doing the same thing the next day. Oh, today's the day. Nope, nothing's happening. What was the mindset? There was no shift in the mindset. The mindset was, I'm going to keep looking outside of me to see if there's a reason for me to think that what I want to be true could possibly be true. And guess what? I was proven right until I stopped doing that. It was the mindset that was the problem. Nothing's working. It's not happening. Why hasn't it happened yet? It should have happened by now. Thoughts that I was accepting as true based on what I was experiencing. I can't tell you how much having a itinerary. Oh, Jax is moving the camera. Having an itinerary of what should be happening. I'm affirming that I am in a relationship, so these things should be happening, and that's how I'm going to know that it's working. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. If you are, again, you're looking outside of you for proof that you can tell yourself what you want to be true. Not how this works. But goes back to the beginning part of what are you accepting is true. I want a relationship, so my SP should be doing this, or guys should be asking me out, or I met a guy and he's perfect and wonderful, but he doesn't blah, blah, blah. What's the mindset? What is the mindset? What is the mindset? That is what you have to come back to. What am I accepting as true? What am I accepting as true right now? What am I accepting as true right now? What am I accepting as true right now? Because we are in a perpetual now. Doesn't matter what you thought about it 10 minutes ago. What am I thinking about it right now? Doesn't matter what's going to happen in 10 minutes. What am I thinking about it right now? Another one that I talked about in one of my Learn to Manifest lessons was the thinking that somehow being more obsessive about my mindset and spending most of my life affirming was going to get me results faster than living my life and allowing my mindset to shift as I just lived my life. That was a bad decision. I have found that less is more, and doing it some is enough, and that the more busy you can keep yourself, the less you even have to worry about your mindset because you're busy and you're thinking about things that aren't the thing that is right in front of your face. Like for me, when I make videos, I am not thinking about what's happening other than filming videos. I don't have a script that I'm going off of. I'm just filming this video as it comes up in my head. I can't be affirming and doing this at the same time. It's one or the other. And I choose to do this because I want to do this and I enjoy doing this. I could have spent the time doing this affirming, but I chose to do this instead. Why? Because I want to live my life and enjoy my now because I can. You can do things to make yourself happy, keep yourself entertained while your mindset is doing, like, while the rest is getting taken care of, because that's what's happening. If you are working on your mindset and you keep bringing yourself back to what you want to be true, the rest is taken care of for you. And that's why in my Learn to Manifest course I have here on YouTube, one of the first affirmations I give you is I get everything I need and want, even if I don't know how, so that you start becoming familiar with that idea, so that when those ideas of, well, maybe this isn't working and I don't know how that would happen and that would be impossible, nope, I get everything I need and want, even if I don't know how. It's all about your mindset. Once you see that, you can't unsee it. And you'll realize that the only pitfall or mistake that you're making is coming from your mindset. And you shift that just like you would shift anything else. I'm single, I'm married. There's a problem, everything's perfect. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. And if you are going to focus on that there is a problem and that there are mistakes to be made, guess what? You're right. And you're going to find all the videos talking about all the problems and all the mistakes that you can make, proving you right. And right there, proving that the law is whatever you tell yourself is true is true. AI gave me that video outline because it's what's popular with people. There are a lot of people who think there are mistakes that can be made in this and that there's ways to do it wrong. The only way to do it wrong is to tell yourself you're doing it wrong. Because that's all that's happening here. You accept things as true and then you experience them. Because you're always right. Yeah. So, from my personal experience, that's the problems and the mistakes and the pitfalls when you are manifesting. Accepting something as true that you no longer want to be true. Thank you so much for watching. Love and light.